Danny Duffy goes to the mound at Kauffman Stadium again tonight. It will be his fourth Major League start, looking to pitch a little bit better, as he has done in his last two. He gets the Minnesota Twins tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. The Minnesota Twins are in town, and so is summer. On a hot night in Kansas City, the Royals and Twins go at it again after Minnesota's 8-2 win last night. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And in Game 1 last night, we spent a lot of time talking about the Twins' problems this year with injuries, and now today it's the Royals sending somebody to the disabled list.
Well, and that somebody is Sean O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan pitched his last start with some tendonitis and didn't get through that game very well in Texas. And also last night he tried to force it through again but couldn't get it done. So O'Sullivan's out and Jesse Chavez is in Kansas City.
Speaking of pitching, Danny Duffy will take the mound tonight. He's gotten a little bit better in every start.
And you just got to keep getting better, and this is what the big league's all about, just improving from start to start, and he's been able to do that to this point.
And what he's hoping to do tonight against the Minnesota Twins is give the Royals some innings.
I want to save our bullpen because our bullpen is so valuable, it's so good. And, I mean, I already handle that. That being said, you know, coming into the sixth, but why not take it into the seventh and save it for another time? You know, yeah, I'd love to pitch 7-8 innings every time out, even 9. So, yeah, you know, I'm learning how to be more efficient and to just get, you know, 2-3 pitch outs as opposed to striking out people on 6 pitches.
Well, you can see where Danny Duffy's definitely improved from start to start, and I think he's learned the value of getting deeper in ball games. He's left the last 2 games with leads, but the bullpen's had too many outs to cover, so he wants to get deeper in the game and cut those outs down.
So Danny Duffy is excited for tonight. Billy Butler is excited. He'll be facing Carl Pavano. He has more hits against Pavano than any other pitcher. And Pavano tonight will try and do to the Royals what he did to a trash can the last time he was here. We'll have more from Kauffman Stadium right after this. and by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. No disrespect intended, Frank, but you figure the Royals are excited to face Carl Pavano. His ERA is over 6.5 against the Royals.
That's really high for Carl Pavano. He's a much better starter than that. He's 4-1 lifetime at the K, and he's a very capable starter. 8 innings his last time out, and he'll be looking to build on that tonight.
He was not happy, to say the least, when he came out of his last game against the Royals. And who does well against Carl Pavano in their career? Take your pick. The Royals have a long list. And Billy Butler, 16 hits against Pavano in his career. As we move along, here's the most recent great Alcides Escobar play from last night.
You know, he continues to amaze me. I mean, he's not hitting as well as he wants to hit, but his defense continues to excel at shortstop. So with Escobar at shortstop, he gives his pitching staff a lot of confidence.
Royals defensively tonight have Alex Gordon, Melky Cabrera, Jeff Francoeur in the outfield, Wilson Betemit at third, Escobar at short. It's Chris Getz at second base with Eric Hosmer on the right side, and Brian Pena back at the plate for rookie Danny Duffy. One Royal who's had his troubles with Carl Pavano is Alex Gordon. That was before he moved to the leadoff spot, and Alex is hitting just a few ticks below 300, batting leadoff. It's the Royals and the Twins, and the first pitch is next. With digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Out to the Bud Light party deck, and here's Joel Goldberg.
All right, guys, yeah, a lot of fun up here at the party deck. It is the Royals Fantasy Camp reunion, which means all the guys over the years that have played Fantasy Camp, that have attended that, are here, and I know Frank has been a part of that as well before. Many of his former teammates are up here, mingling with some of the players. Willie Wilson's up here. I see Jim Eisenreich up here. Marty Patton is up here. And Greg Pryor's up here, and many others as well. We'll see if we can visit with some during the game, guys.
All right, Joel. And if he didn't happen to be working tonight, I think Frank would be up there.
I definitely will. I'll go up there later tonight.
Denard Span 2 hits last night. 4th in the American League with 66 hits. One of the few bright spots for Minnesota on offense. Their brightest spot was placed on the disabled list last night, Jason Kubel. So the Twins getting their first look at Danny Duffy, making his 4th major league start, his 2nd here at Kauffman Stadium. Two and one. And Danny's first start here at Kauffman Stadium, April the 18th against the Rangers. He walked 6 in 4 innings. Then 3 walks, and then on Sunday this line, very good, against Texas in their ballpark on a bad day to pitch. Very warm, strong winds. He did give up 2 home runs, but it only led to 3 earned runs and only 1 walk, and that didn't come until the 23rd hitter he faced.
Well, he's been very aggressive with his fastball, getting it down so far tonight. You see pitch number 2. That's on the outside corner. He didn't get that one, but if he can start getting that pitch right there, it's going to make him much more effective.
2-2. Here's Minnesota's lineup tonight, presented by Southwest Airlines, and pretty much the same as last night, with the exception of the 8 and 9 hitters, as Luke Hughes will be at second base and Drew Butera will be behind the plate. So Matt Tolbert and Rene Rivera are out. Denard Span is out. Good start for Danny Duffy.
He just attacked with his fastball his whole at bat to Denard Span, and he finally just threw the fastball by him. And the one thing that gets Duffy's pitch count up, Ryan, is a lot of his fastballs get fouled off.
It'll be Gordon, Cabrera, Francoeur in the outfield behind Duffy, with Bedamit, Escobar, Getz, Hosmer on the dirt, and Brian Pena behind the plate. And fastball with good movement in on AT KCA. KCA 1 for 4 with a walk and a run scored last night. 1-1, says home plate umpire Mike Everett. On the corner, 1-2. Well, there's no denying the fastball, and you're looking at anywhere from 92 to 96 miles an hour. And tonight it looks like it has a little bit of late life to it.
Late life and down. That's what I like about him right now, is that he's really forcing the ball downhill, and if he stays there with his fastball, he's going to get a lot of good pitches. Right now I'm just waiting on him to get that corner, and he's right on it. He's just in that little square where he needs to be, but he's not getting counted for all the strikes.
Miss with the curve, and it is 3-2. It was a hot one in Kansas City today, up into the mid 90s in some parts. 89 right now. The game started on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCI. Gets to the middle, has to throw back across his body, and KCA beats it out. Not much more Chris Getz could do on that play.
Good speed over the middle. He played it well and gave his best effort on a throw, but KCA run too well and beat it out by half a step.
So 1 on 1 out. 5 stolen bases for KCA this year. Strange seeing Minnesota down near the bottom in the American League in stolen bases. They are 12th, but then again they are down at the bottom in just about. Justin Morneau 1 for 5 with a run, batting at .242. Outside for ball 1. On a couple of occasions last night, Morneau hit the ball hard, but he hit it right into the shift, which isn't quite as dramatic with a runner at first base.
Well, you're right, Ryan. And Aviles made a play in shallow right field on a line drive we thought was a base hit, but they definitely take advantage of him with nobody on.
Morneau is the DH for a second straight night. Takes a look at a fastball, 1-1. Jim Thome, along with Jason Kubel, placed on the disabled list yesterday, so that opens up the DH spot for Morneau. Michael Kadire is playing at first. It is 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, Ron Gardenhire was talking about that today. They asked him what it feel like not to have those big guys in the lineup, and he says, hey, nothing we can do about it. We just got to go out, and other players just have to step up.
In the air to left field and right at Alex Gordon. KCA tagging, but he will hold. It was not a long throw for Alex. 2 outs.
That's one of the things you go through when you have someone as good as Morneau and Mauer, and sometimes your teammates have a tendency to depend on those guys a little bit too much, and they may think they're giving the effort that they need to give, but when those guys are out, that's when you really tell who can step up and keep things going for their ball club.
Well, even with those guys out and with the team that has struggled on offense all year, Minnesota coming up with 8 runs and beating the Royals last night. A 6-run 3rd inning, jumping all over a Mike Aviles error. 4 of the 6 runs were unearned. So even a team with subpar numbers for them on offense, given an extra out, they made the most of it.
And that's something they probably haven't been doing a lot of, but when you get a team that comes in struggling, you definitely don't want to give them extra outs. You want to make them earn everything they get.
Michael Kadire drove in a couple of runs last night, including a run in the 1st inning. Duffy to this point has not shown a great move to first base.
Well, that was definitely not great. It's almost like he was caught in between going home and going to first.
One ball, 1 strike.
Well, pitcher coach Bob McClure had a great move to first base, so hopefully at some point they get together and he kind of teaches some things that will give him some help. You know, when men on second base especially, he can be up as high as 1.8 to the plate, so he's got to be able to speed it up, slow it down when he has to.
Just missed again. 2 balls, 1 strike on Kadire. Kadire in the last year of a multi-year contract. He is the longest tenured Minnesota Twin. He's been in the big league since 2001. KCA runs. Pena's throw is to the 3rd base side. So it's 3 balls and 1 strike on Kadire now with a runner at second base.
Well, you take a look at Duffy's move, which wasn't very good, and once that knee crosses the leg, then KCA takes off first move and he makes it easily in the second base. Pena's throw came up a little short.
And now a walk. No, Danny Duffy said it himself at the beginning of the broadcast. He wants to have quicker innings, throw fewer pitches. Mentioned it before that this year at Omaha, he only averaged 5 innings per start. And doing a little more investigating, in his career, he goes about 4 2/3 innings per start. That's in 5 minor league years. He's only had 1 season as a professional where he has gone more than 5 innings per start on average, and he's never gone more than 126 innings in a year. So he will learn to pitch deep into games at this level.
Well, he definitely will. He's going to end up losing a lot of games that he should win, but you got to really keep those innings down for your bullpen. I'd say 6 outs minimum you want your bullpen to try to get for you in your start. And in the minor leagues, a lot of stuff is scripted to where you have to have guys in and out of the game in a certain amount of pitches. But he's finding out here that when you only go 5, you can upset the balance of everything in your pitching staff if you don't go deep in the game. The bullpen gets taxed, and you heard him talk more and more in his interviews about, help save the bullpen by getting more innings in the game.
Getz will flip to Escobar, so the Twins leave 2 in a scoreless first inning. Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, Billy Butler, Wilson Betemit, Brian Pena, Chris Getz, and Alcides Escobar. And it'll be the second time this year the Royals face Carl Pavano. They beat him here on May 1st.
Well, Pavano, in his last outing, went 8 innings, but didn't get a decision in that game. But he'll be bringing the fastballs, change-ups. His fastball will sink. He'll turn it over. And if he's getting the corners in and out, he does pitch in and out. If he's getting the corners, he can be very tough.
He has given up 82 hits. That is the second most in the American League, and that's because he throws strikes. A lot of hits, very few walks. Alex Gordon is just 3 out of 19 against Carl Pavano, but 2 of those 3 hits were home runs. A couple of times we showed you Pavano assaulting a trash can in the Minnesota dugout when he came out of the game on May the 1st, and the Royals pushed him around that day. 6 different Royals had RBIs in that game, and they beat Pavano 10-3. So Pavano couldn't beat the Royals, so he decided to go after the trash can. And after the game, he said that felt great. Right at Ben Revere, so tough hitting luck for Alex Gordon. 1 down in the bottom of the first. The defense behind Carl Pavano as Delman Young, Denard Span, Ben Revere in the outfield. Danny Valencia, Alexi Casilla. Luke Hughes just called up at second base. Michael Kadire at first, and Drew Butera is behind the plate. And defense so important for Pavano, being a contact pitcher. His first 2 years with the Twins, he went 22-15 and gave a lot of credit to the Twins defense. Defense hasn't been as strong this year, and Pavano is 2-5. 1-1 on Melky Cabrera.
Well, I think you kind of hit one nail on the head when you say that they've had 3 consecutive years with a different middle infield, and saying that in itself can change things for you.
And Revere, great speed, not able to run it down. That was Melky Cabrera's first at bat against Pavano. So 2 line drives to right in the first inning, a line out, and now a single.
Well, he did a good job just seeing his pitch going down and away, and he was strong enough to get out in front of it and pull it back to right field. You can see the wrist was just about to turn right at the point of contact, so he had reached about as far as he can reach before that automatically happens.
And now Eric Hosmer, who's hit in his last 4 games after getting a base hit last night and a run scored. 6 RBIs for Hosmer in the series before this one, a series win against the Angels.
Well, Eric is usually very aggressive on first pitch fastballs. He started the game last night taking a first pitch fastball, and again tonight taking a first pitch fastball. So I don't know whether he's trying to see more pitches or give himself a chance to work some deep counts. I know Kevin, they like to see pitches. They like to where to start it down, get the pitch count up, but you hate to take that first pitch fastball and swing at that second fastball that he swung at.
Still 0-2. Royals are 2-2 on this homestand. This is game 2 of 4 with Minnesota, followed by 4 with Toronto. Royals have 19 wins at home this season, tied for the most in the American League with Cleveland and Texas. Hosmer chased a pitch up and strikes out, 2 away. Just a 27 strikeout for Carl Pavano in 70 innings. That's not his game. And now he gets Jeff Francoeur. 3 hits for Francoeur, drove in both Royals runs. All 3 hits for extra bases. 2 doubles and a triple. And he's after the first pitch, and Pavano spears it, underhands to Kadire, and that's it for the Royals in the bottom of the first. Mobile broadband network by Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers.
All right, Ryan, fantasy camp reunion. Tomorrow's Willie Wilson bobblehead night, but tonight I get to visit with my old fantasy baseball, fantasy alumni coach, Willie Wilson. Fantasy camp. You're out there every single year. How much do you enjoy it?
It's fun. It's nice to go out and to have the players, the guys come down and they kind of like have fun with us. We have fun with them, and we're just having a good time now. So if a lot of people want to look at us having a good time and come on out and have some fun, it'd be great.
The baseball can get very competitive, not just between all the campers, but you coaches as well. Like, I know you want to beat Frank every single year, and Frank wants to beat you, and Frank's always bragging about his team winning.
Well, Frank usually has a pretty good team when he gets down there, and I think the guys, probably the same guys come down there, just like we have the same guys. So it is fun. It is competition. We like to win, but, we know that we can't win every game. But last year I said that we have the most fun, and Frank said, how could you have the most fun when you're losing? So, but we do. We have the most fun, I think. So.
Well, Frank would say that they have the most fun as well, and then you guys get a chance to actually get out there and play in one game as well. And I got to say that many of you still have it. It's also a little bit interesting to watch.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't go too hard, but we try to position ourselves very well because we know that we can't go too far. But if everybody doesn't know, Joel played in the fantasy league, and
it wasn't pretty.
No, there was like one area Joel had. I think Frank saw it too. It was just down and in. You threw it down and in, you were going to smoke it. Anywhere else, pop up.
Right, I thought you were talking about one area that I could cover on the field, which was standing right on first base. Actually, Frank throws amazing batting practice. He figures out the only place that area is, and then he hits it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Down and in, one area. That's it.
Lefties, I thought that's the only thing lefties can do is hit down there. That's the only thing this lefty can do is hit down and in.
Yeah, well, you need to go the opposite way sometimes with the man on third or a man on first or something like that, right?
That's not happening in this lifetime. You know what? The other thing about fantasy camp that is so much fun, I know for the people that are there, the campers, but also you coaches, you alumni, the stories, which seem to get crazier and crazier and exaggerated every single year.
Well, I mean, the lies get bigger and better, and of course a lot of them are lies, but we make it seem like they're not. And so I think the stories that we tell, I think that it makes it fun for all the campers, and it's just fun to be around. And so we just do the best we can do, and we lie a lot, and it's fun.
It is a fun week, whether you've got incredible talent or, like me, no talent at all. These guys go out there, they have a good time. Willie, thanks a lot for the stories, and we'll see you tomorrow on Hy-Vee Royals Live when it is Willie Wilson bobblehead night.
Well, thank you. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, that is Willie Wilson. Guys, let's go back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks, Joel. And it is only appropriate that while we were talking about Willie, Ben Revere got an infield single showing off his speed. So tomorrow at 6:10, the first 20,000 fans will get this Willie Wilson bobblehead presented by Farmland. Ben Revere on a ground ball to short, and Escobar knew he had to hurry because of the speed and didn't get the grip he wanted right away, and the official score ruled it a single.
And that's what speed does.
Here you
go. Speed will make you rush, and when you have to rush, you're only going to get one shot at it. And that's what, no matter how good you are, you got to be able to speed up and slow down in this game when you have to.
One ball, one strike on Luke Hughes. He's called up from AAA yesterday when Kubel and Tomey went on the disabled list. The other player called up was the runner at first, Ben Revere, who has stolen as many as 45 in a year. That was in the minor leagues. And maybe Duffy is a little more concerned with Revere right now than he is Hughes. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, I think right now you just need to concentrate on throwing strikes. I know that they probably talked to him about being quicker to the plate, varying your looks, that type of thing. But if it's going to take you out of rhythm, you better off to stay in rhythm and throw a strike, and hopefully you can get out of it that way. But if you concentrate too much on the base runner, now you're messed up in both areas. So as a young pitcher, I would say to work on these things, away from your start. Once you're in your start, just focus more on just throwing strikes. Hold the ball a little bit longer if you have to, but don't get so into throwing the ball to first base.
Revere still beats it, and it was a balk anyway. Home plate umpire Mike Everett coming out and calling balk. Revere will get a stolen base.
Well, he's got that knee and that foot crosses in front of that. There he goes right there. Just didn't take that. They didn't really have that good step to first base. They made that commitment to home, and then he changed and went back to first base. Well, that's what I was saying there, Ryan. Don't just hold the ball a little bit longer if you have to, but really don't get into throwing to first base a lot, trying to improve your move in the middle of a game. Just vary the times that you hold the ball, and then just stay focused on the pitch to the plate.
And now 3 balls, 2 strikes on Luke Hughes. Duffy gave up an infield single and a walk in the first inning, which did not result in a run. He has given up an infield single in this inning, trying to avoid a walk. Back to Duffy, checks Revere, and there are 2 outs.
So the home plate umpire calls this balk on Duffy, and what he's looking for is a movement to home plate. So watch his right hip, and it actually makes a move to the home plate before he goes to first base, and that's where the balk's called right there. It's almost like he committed himself to the plate, and he saw Revere take off, and then he adjusted to first, but he had too much going toward home plate, and that's why the home plate umpire called balk.
And now ball 1 to Drew Butera. He's getting a lot of playing time with Joe Mauer on the disabled list. Last year was Carl Pavano's personal catcher, and now has a Pavano-like mustache. Two 2-0. Butera only played in 49 games last year, and tonight is his 35th. So an opportunity for him with Mauer down. Pulled foul, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. It's interesting. Here's Drew Butera trying to get used to, at least when Joe Mauer is healthy, being a backup to an all-star catcher. His father, Sal Butera, was a big league catcher, and he had a very similar role. He had to play behind guys like Gary Carter, Butch Weiniger, Lance Parrish. And the biggest hurdle, and Sal was telling us this earlier on the road this year, that the biggest hurdle is just accepting that this is what your role is going to be.
Well, you kind of look at your offense, and your offense kind of goes along with that. So if you're not really driving the ball and getting a lot of base hits, then a lot of times you can't see yourself as an everyday catcher.
Adding just 133, but Duffy walks him, and there are 2 on for Denard Span.
Sometimes you get a feeling in this game that Danny Duffy's just trying to do a little too much. You know, he just, rather than just relaxing and picking up the catcher and throwing strikes, and I think he's been squeezed a little bit in this game to this point. But I think the balk might have threw him off a little bit, and so he just got a lot of things going on his mind. So pitching coach Bob McClure's out there now, just settle him down and say, look, you're doing okay, you're throwing the ball fine. I know he's a little bit tight, but just hang in there and don't get frustrated.
He struck out Denard Span to begin the game, got him with a good fastball. So 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Duffy. Revere, excellent speed at second base. Butera at first. And the fastball is outside, ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Could understand if Duffy was excited. Who wouldn't be, making a major league debut and doing so at home on May the 18th, and that might have had something to do with his 6 walks, but looked a lot more calm in his following start at Baltimore. Looked very good on Sunday at Texas, and maybe a little fired up tonight as he pitches at Kauffman Stadium in front of a big crowd. That's driven to center field. Melky can't run it down. He was shallow. Revere scores. Butera to the plate. And Minnesota takes a 2-0 lead in the second inning.
Against the Denard span, they was shallow in center field. Miguel Cabrera was, and this ball's really hit well. I think it's hit a lot better than Melky thought. He kind of stood there for a minute, and then he wasn't able to catch up. And that's that area of the field where the ball really takes off. And as we see, Butera comes in and scored the second run of the inning.
And now KCA drives one to left field. The wind is blowing out that way, but not enough. Alex makes the play. Minnesota gets 2 in the second. Twins going. They score 2 on a Denard span double. So the Twins out in front as we look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Which starter wins the most games in June? Danny Duffy, Jeff Francis, Luke Hochevar, Felipe Paulino. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, a space, then A, B, C, or D. Remember, you have a chance to win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium for a Royals game for you and 11 guests. If you send in your text, you'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint with directions on how you can register. Billy Butler 0 for 3 with a walk last night. That put an end to a 6-game hitting streak. And before I can tell you that he had 2 lineouts, he squirts one through the right side for a base hit.
Well, he will take that one on. During batting practice, he was just really complaining about all the line drives he's hit and hit right at people. And I just told him, I said, Billy, when you're hitting a lot of line drives, sooner or later the hits are going to start falling for you. And there's one that he can just take to the bank right there and say that was definitely a gift. Ball in on him, inside out swing, slicer in the right field.
Ball 1 to Wilson Betemit. 1 for 4 last night and batting at .305. Good changeup. Carl Pavano, when he faced the Royals on May 1st, was going for his 100th career win. He lost, and then he has failed to get his 100th career win in his next 5 starts. Out at second base, and then KCA couldn't find the grip, so the Twins get just 1. So 1 on 1 out. Brian Pena coming up. Also coming up, It is Mizzou night here at Kauffman Stadium, presented by Fox Sports Kansas City and the Royals. So we invite all Mizzou fans to join us. That is tomorrow night. Special pregame activities. You'll meet some of the current student athletes. Go to Royals.com/Mizzou for more information. Presented by the TV home of the Big 12, Fox Sports Kansas City. Kevin Shank, Nate Bukaty fired up about Mizzou night tomorrow. Ryan not in the lineup last night. No balls, 2 strikes. One and two.
You know, that double play, Ryan, that just didn't get turned. And you look at a lot of teams, they say, oh, man, we got all these one-run losses, and, you know, we played all these one-run games, and that's why you play them. A lot of times it's not because you hit a lot. A lot of it is because you didn't turn plays that you should turn, and turn plays in the outs. And you miss a double play like that, then that's an extra batter on the field on the base that shouldn't be on the base.
Now 2 down. Chris Getz coming up with Betamede at first. Or you call it question for tonight. Which starter wins the most games in June?
Well, Ron, that's an impressive list of guys to choose from. But I would have to go with, I think Jeff Francis really is, he's a veteran guy. He knows how to pitch, and he's shown that he can pitch to a little early inning, early game, and adversity and get deep in the game. So I would have to kind of lean his direction right now.
One and one to Chris Getz. Out of the lineup last night. Mike Aviles was at second base. Getz has hit right at 400 in his last 10 games. So his average at 253. And for a player of his style, he's got his on-base percentage up to 337. So better than 80 points than his average. 1 and 2. Something that Chris has been working on as far as mechanics go is he has incorporated a bit of a leg lift into his stride. Prior to that, he was doing what is known as the toe tap technique taught by many, but one that really comes to mind, Rudy Jaramillo, when he was a longtime hitting coach of the Rangers, now at the Cubs. You can think of all those Rangers hitters that would stride back first and then stride forward. Getz was doing that. Now trying to get a little more momentum, a little more push, a little more drive in his swing, just lifting his front knee.
Yeah, just trying to keep that weight back and keep your lower half back so you can rotate your hips a little faster, and then that creates a little more bat speed. That's probably why we saw him turning on balls down in the right field corner where he hadn't pulled the ball in a long time. Usually he's a little out front, he comes off his back leg, and he slaps the ball in the left center field with no real pop on it. So now he's generating a little bit more bat speed, and the ball's jumping off the bat a little better.
Just fighting to stay alive. Barely making contact, but still up there at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, we take a look at his last swing here, Ryan, and see how he gets out on his front side. Now the leg kick goes up, then this foot goes down, and when that front foot hits, he's got to be ready to swing. But see how far forward he had moved with his hips, and that takes your bat speed away.
Reaching again and pops out to Hughes. Royals are down in the second inning. Pavano has a 2-0 lead. Looking for at thoroughbred4.com. By Steel, are you ready for a steal? And by 5-Hour Energy, fixes tired fast, one shot, back to work, problem solved. Big crowd on a warm night in Kansas City. Buck night, fireworks after the game, collection of Royals and Twins fans. 2-0 Minnesota after Denard Span's 2-run double in the second. Justin Morneau, Michael Kadire, and Danny Valencia here in the third. And now Justin Morneau showing bunt. And if he were to lay down a good bunt to the third base side, he might come up with a double.
They just don't believe him. Nobody moved.
Pitch was up and in. Hosmer running over near the tarp, and he runs it down. Morneau is 0 for 2.
Eric Hosmer's a second baseman's best friend. I tell you, he goes as far back as any first baseman I've seen. He catches pop-ups with ease. I mean, he's never looked like he's out of control on a pop-up. It's like he's got it measured just right. But the range that he shows down the line is very good.
Michael Kadire walked first time up, erased on a force out. And a curveball drops in for a strike. Duffy could use a quick inning. 23 pitches in the first, 21 in the second. Two and one. Drilled to center field. Back goes Melky Cabrera, and Michael Kadire hits it into the water. His 6th of the year. Minnesota leads 3-0.
Has a fastball pitch and a fastball swing. This is right down the middle. And Michael Kadire turned on this ball and hit it deep center field. There was no doubt about that when he first made contact with it. You know it's going to be trouble.
Third home run allowed by Duffy, who did not allow a home run in his first 2 starts, and then the Rangers got him for 2 on Sunday. Good changeup. And it is 1-1 on Danny Valencia. He grounded into a force out in the first inning. Two balls, one strike. Got the call over the inside, 2-2. Valencia had hit in 7 straight before going hitless last night, but he did have an impact in the game. It was his ground ball that resulted in the error that opened the floodgates for the Twins in a 6-run third, 4 unearned. Drove in a run on that play, came around to score later in the inning. And after a ground out in the first inning tonight, he is now 0 for his last 8.
He had a hard time with the slider last night. Just pulled off the ball pretty bad, and until you make that adjustment, and at least if there's strikes, it's one thing. When you chase the ball off the plate, and you're not making any adjustment, that's when that batting and the offers just tend to get higher.
And a soft liner gets past Duffy, and it's into center field.
Well, yeah, hitters struggling, if you stay ahead of them, Ryan, you got a chance to get them out. But when you make them even in the count 3-2, you got to bring the ball in there. It just makes him that much better hitter. And you see, I think his ball actually broke his bat, and Duffy made an effort, but the ball was by him. He just wasn't able to react as fast as the ball was going by him.
Delman Young struck out swinging in the second inning. Duffy has struck out 2. Fastball swing on a changeup, 0-1.
The one department that Delman Young's had trouble in this year, Ryan, is slugging percentage. You know, he's got a .260 slugging percentage, and he's a guy that they depend on to drive in runs and hit extra base hits. And so far, he hasn't been able to get that done.
Boy, he was jammed, but so strong he got that through the right side. The ball barely reached the outfield grass, and Delman Young has a single.
Well, that's one of those balls that are hit. If Valencia doesn't have to wait and let this ball go by, he'd probably easily go first or third on this play, but he held up and let the ball go by. If he goes right away, then he's probably able to get first or third on that. But like you say, he just sort of pushed that ball out in the right field.
So 2 on for Ben Revere. Reached with an infield single in the first inning, and then had second base stolen. But the home plate umpire Mike Everett called a balk. So first ruled a stolen base, then lost the stolen base to the balk. Danny Duffy tried to adjust his motion after Revere took off from first, but in doing so violated the balk rule, allowing his front leg to cross his back leg. The knees are not allowed to cross. A left-hand pitcher lifting his front leg. Once the knees cross, the pitcher has to go to the plate. Ben Revere has hit in 7 straight games. 3 balls, 1 strike. Grounded to Hosmer. Royals will have to hurry. No chance for a double play. Good play by Escobar, realizing the speed of the batter runner. So the Royals get the second out, and their runners at first and third.
But one of the things that pitchers have to realize, anything hit to that right side, they got to get off the mound right away. And Duffy really didn't have that good sprint off the mound, and so he was just kind of caught in no man's land. Now Hosmer's playing way off. He makes the throw down to Escobar at shortstop, but he saw no one was there, so he readjusted and tried to hopefully catch a run around in third.
Nice scoop by Pena. That saved a run.
Yeah, Brian's getting better and better. I mean, you can tell he's been really working on this part of his game, and I know in spring training a lot of the talk was about his defense behind the plate, blocking balls, being able to throw down to second base and get runners. But blocking the baseballs, you can tell he's really done a lot of work in that area.
Hughes lines it foul off to the left field side. Well, he had 2 choices. He could either catch it with his cap or with his popcorn. His buddy's not very happy with him.
The people behind him aren't very happy with him.
Good portion of that guy's beer is now on his shirt. Out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Third straight 20-pitch inning for Duffy. And here is pitch number 70. And again, it's Revere trying to stand a rundown long enough. Play at the plate. And Pena blocks the plate and tags out Valencia. Minnesota adds one in the third. Instrumental in founding the Kansas City Securities Association Educational Scholarship Fund. That's a mouthful. It provides scholarships for inner city children to attend college, and the fund has provided more than $1.3 million in scholarships to more than 200 Kansas City students. Now, Cedes Escobar was 0 for his last 16, so trying to find a way to get on base. And out in a nice play. Carl Pavano coming off the mound with a bad bunt. So Alex Gordon, and we'll take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Top on base percentage since May the 18th, when Alex took over as the Royals leadoff man, and only two other leadoff hitters in the league have a higher on base percentage. The benchmark for leadoff men, how many times they're getting on base. Alex line to right, leading off the first inning, 2 for 6 in the series. Has 7 RBIs against Minnesota this year. Two and one.
One thing you notice about Alex this year over last year is when he takes a pitch, he's just so much more relaxed when he takes a pitch. And he's not, doing the check swing, almost swing. It's like he's either going to swing or he's not going to swing. And that's a good sign he's seeing the ball.
Two base hits to center field last night using the center of the diamond, and then hit a bullet to right fielder Ben Revere in the first inning tonight. Here's where statistics can be deceiving. That makes Alex 3 out of 20 in his career against Pavano, but that was a good swing. Pavano didn't make Alex look bad. Alex just hit it into the defense. Still 2 and 2. Fastball stays inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes with Melky Cabrera on deck.
Remember that pitch last year, early in the year, that same pitch right there? Alex would be down underneath that pitch, jammed himself. And, he couldn't get his hips through. Now he just spits on that pitch when it's inside.
That is a rare walk given up by Pavano, so a good plate appearance for Alex Gordon. It's just the 17th walk all year allowed by Carl Pavano. And now he gets Melky Cabrera with a runner at first. Melky singled right in the first inning. That was his first ever at bat against Pavano. Look out. The Twins don't turn the double play. They get the force at second base. So Melky at first, 2 down, and now Eric Hosmer coming to the plate. Remember, tomorrow before the game, you have an opportunity to meet Eric Hosmer. He'll be signing autographs at the Majestic Team Store. That'll be tomorrow from noon until 1. And then the Royals and the Twins will play at 6:10. That'll be Luke Hochshaver against Nick Blackburn.
There have been 10 stolen bases against Carl Pavano this year. He's not overly quick to the plate. So the Royals might want to try to exploit that when they get an opportunity.
Hosmer chased a fastball up and struck out. Frank was talking about the best pitch he may have seen in that entire at bat was the first pitch.
It works that way. I just don't. I know a lot of people don't like you to hit the first pitch. But I think that if it's your pitch in your zone, if you hit it square on the nose, even though it may result in an out, to me that's not a bad at bat. It's not whether you see 5 or 6 pitches or not, because you end up swinging at something that you don't like.
High and deep to left field. Delman Young at the wall, leaping. Where is it? It appears to be wedged. It is now fan interference. And they're going to call it a double. Well, we've seen 2 strange plays in left field on this homestand. The first one was in the game on Wednesday, and looking at the replay, it went over the padded railing, hit the railing behind it, the reviewed home run. This one appeared to land in front of the padded railing but didn't bounce back. It just stayed wedged. It doesn't appear that the fan made contact with the ball. It just was stuck on this side, and then the fan just assumed that that's a home run ball. And you can see he is reaching over the railing. So they'll review it. They'll realize it wasn't a home run.
That's a tough one there, because the fielder can't get up there and get that one. So what do you do? Just leave it there and let him keep running? That's a tough one.
I got to think that's the exact same thing as the ball that got wedged. Remember the Adam Jones play when the Orioles were here and the ball was wedged in the padding? That's just wedged in the padding, except it is above the wall as opposed to below the wall.
And wouldn't it be hard for the outfielder to see that being wedged at that point? Because I don't think Delman Young threw his arms up until the fan reached over and pulled the ball up.
And then that was the ruling. That watching the third base umpire, Mike Winters, he put his arms above his head and he grabbed his right wrist with his left hand, which is the fan interference sign, which is not an automatic double. It is whatever the umpires believe would have happened if the fan did not interfere with the ball. Most of the time it results in a double, but it's not an automatic double. So I'm guessing this will just be a ground rule double. The ground rules of Kauffman Stadium, like it was the other night, the ball wedged in the padding. And yep, see, this time he just rules double. So instead of the fan interference ruling, now he just simply says double because it was lodged in the padding.
Well, that's a good call. That's one they got right. Yeah, it was clear that Delman Young didn't throw his arms up until the fan reached over and pulled the ball up.
So nothing really changes other than just clarifying what happened. It wasn't fan interference. It was a double. But either way, Hosmer was going to be at second base. So he just misses a home run, which would have made it a 3-2 game. And now 0-1 on Jeff Francoeur. Rounded back to Pavano, who made a good play in the first inning. And Francoeur this time gets it by Pavano, but Hughes backhands, throws him out. So that was a big play. The Royals lead 2 and trail 3-0 to the fourth. To left center field, a ball that wedged in the padding above the wall. And so another review, and this is where the umpires go. They've got a telephone to a studio in New York. They have the monitor just to the right of the telephone box. And so they're looking at the monitor, talking on the phone. That's where they make their ruling. That's one of the monitors, although it looks like they're staring at the phone. So anyway, that's where they go, right down a tunnel outside of third base, in between the visitors' dugout and the third base dugout suite. Shallow right, and it's Jeff Francoeur to retire Luke Hughes, one away. Here are the Time Warner Cable wideband internet pitch speeds. Carl Pavano at 93, Danny Duffy up to 95. He is up to 72 as far as pitches go. So there's where the umpires go. That's also where the umpires' dressing room is. Strike to Drew Butera with 2 outs in the second inning. Walked, a painful walk for Duffy and the Royals. Butera batting 133. That brought a 290 plus hitter, Denard Span, to the plate, who then hit a 2-run double. Again, it's Francoeur in right field, so 2 quick outs for Duffy in the fourth. Tonight is another carsoup.com email the booth night. Go to carsoup.com/Royals. Carsoup will ask you for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a separate page where you can submit your question. And Joel Goldberg is waiting on the other end. So Denard Span struck out in the first and then hit the 2-run double in the second. outside, ball one. That gets his average up to 299 and is Span's 67th hit of the year. So tied for third in the American League in that department. Span had a very good year 2 years ago, and in spring training last season the Twins gave him a 5-year contract extension, and as is the case with a lot of young players, maybe tried to do too much with the big contract, so he slipped last year. Batting average dropped quite a bit, on base percentage as well, but now so far this has been a bounce back season for 2-2.
Well, that's a mistake that a lot of teams, and the teams don't make the mistake by giving the player the dollars, but I think the players make a mistake because they get the dollars and then they say, okay, I can do more, and then by trying to do more than what your ability to let you do, then you end up doing worse. And you see that a lot. A lot of guys who sign big contracts that next year, they just don't look like the same player.
Line to left, and Alex didn't get this one. Span can fly, and that's what Alex has to do to run it down. Span to third. He will be waved home. Escobar to the plate, and Span is out at home plate. And with that play, Brian Pena can forget all about Sunday afternoon. Well, if he let them down on Sunday, the guys in the truck are loving Brian again after blocking the plate on Denard Span, who is going for an inside the park home run.
Well, there was no doubt who was going to win this battle here. He wasn't going to move. Just 2 steps in front of the plate. Did a great job picking this ball out of the dirt, and I'll tell you what, that is a job he does after he makes this play. He holds onto this tough pop. He took the collision at the same time and came out with the baseball. Great play.
How about the concentration on that play? And it looked like Span in his slide got a piece of Brian's glove.
He did. I mean, he got there early, but I mean, he couldn't get to the plate. I mean, he was up at least a foot and a half in front of home plate. And Brian was just bound and determined he wasn't going to move on this play.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Billy. He singled to right in the second inning. Brian will bat third in this inning. following Wilson Betemit. For Billy, that was his 17th career hit against Carl Pavano, the most for him against any pitcher. 3 balls, 2 strikes. A low throw, bouncing in about 3 times. Somehow able to find that ball through the runner. The runner is sliding into part of his glove, and he hung on. Delmon Young has it go by him. If he fields that cleanly, that might be just a single. So Billy gets another hit against Pavano, his 18th. And the Royals have a runner at second base with nobody out.
Billy did a good job just of squaring up the fastball. Got jammed this last time and got a pushed him a base hit in the right field, but he got around this fastball, and his ball jumped over Delmon Young's glove in left field, and Billy was able to just get us credited with a single.
And then the error on Delmon Young. Speaking of Delmon Young, and speaking of inside the park home runs, was it not Delmon Young in the left field corner when Mark Teahan tied the game with a 3-run inside the park home run against Joe Nathan?
I remember that. Well, I think Alex made an aggressive play on a fast guy, but you got to really make sure you can catch the ball. If the ball gets by you here, it's dangerous.
Billy to third base on the broken bat base hit for Betemit. So first and third with nobody out. Brian Pena coming up.
I mean, these 2 plays tonight done wonders for Brian Pena after what happened in Texas, Ryan. Just right away, you can just see right here. He's going to dive at this runner right here. It was going to be no doubt who's going to control home plate. And here he holds his ground, and you see him move up on the play and not back on the play. So he got redemption right away, and that's what he wants, and he feels great right now. Stays right there. It's outstanding. He was like, that was a Mike Scioscia block right there. I mean, the runner goes nowhere.
Fouled away by Brian. Out on a fly ball to center field in the second inning. What do you think? I think we need some rules about when you can and when you can't run over the catcher at home plate?
I don't think so. I like the game the way it is. I think what you have to determine is whether the base runner goes out of his way.
Well, that's what I mean. Should there be rules about when you can or when you can't?
I don't know how you can do it. I mean, the catchers that I've talked to say no, and if it wasn't a guy like Buster Posey that is hitting, he's a young and upcoming player. I mean, when Ray Fosse got hit in the All-Star game, they didn't say let's change the rules for how you slide it in the home plate in the All-Star game. So I just think that most catchers I've talked to have said they like the rule the way it is, and when a player goes out of his way to initiate contact, then there's other ways to handle that.
Well, I will respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
Because I think there's blocking the plate, and then you're setting yourself up to get drilled when you do that. But every replay I've seen, and Brian Sabian, the general manager of the Giants, finally came out and very upset at the Marlins player that took out Buster Posey, because he was, at least the replays I saw, he was to the first base side of home plate. There was plenty of plate for him to slide to, and so I agree with you in that if you block the plate, then you're setting yourself up. But if you're not blocking the plate and a guy takes a catcher out when he doesn't have to,
I don't know. In that instance, you can see clearly, and I've said right away, that's not a good slide contact. So as long as the catcher gives you somewhere to slide, then you definitely have to take that.
A swinging bunt, a barehanded attempt by a pitcher, a bobble by a third baseman. Other than that, nothing happened on that play, except the Royals scoring their first run.
Well, this is really this is one of the mistakes right here. You're trying to catch the ball with your bare hand, and you should easily just use your glove on this ball here. Now everything's all out of whack right here. Everybody's all over the place, and Billy scores, and there was almost no one to cover. Billy does a good job reading that. Then he makes his reaction at home plate. Then the Twins were all out of whack. They didn't have anybody covering third base.
And now Getz lays down a bunt. Dyer runs to the line to tag him out. So Betemit moves up to third base, and Pena to second.
Yeah, that's why they give you a glove. Use it. But Brian, what I was talking about on the catching thing, now you're right. If the catcher should give you some place to slide. They do, you take it. But what I'm saying though is, what if a guy still doesn't take it? What's going to be the penalty for it? I mean, in the old days when a guy slid improperly, then the next time he came to a bat, then that's when the other team dealt with it. Now, so the rule has always been there. If the catcher gives you some place to slide, go ahead and take it. But I agree in this case, he went inside after the catcher. And anytime a catcher has reached up the right field line, then he's going to give it the outside part of the base. So he definitely had intentions of colliding with Posey at the plate. So I agree that was a terrible slide.
Scott Cousins is the Florida Marlins player.
But I'm just kind of curious.
But what do you do, right?
What's the penalty?
Sure. Good point. Haven't gotten that far in my argument. Betemit hesitated, and now the throw to the plate, and he is out. I don't know if he hesitated because maybe he thought that line drive was going to be caught, but
yeah, I think that's what he hesitated. As soon as it was hit, he froze. You can see him just freeze right there. You can see him made an excellent throw to the plate. Now we have to ask yourself on that play there, if he's going on contact, and there was no reason to freeze on that play, because as soon as the ball is hit, you're going right away regardless of where the ball is hit. So I don't know if that was a misread on Betemit's part or not.
Well, and nobody else moves up. I mean, if you make the mistake there, don't you at least try and get into a rundown? And if apparently it wasn't a contact play, because then isn't Brian Pena as well trying to make a move towards third base?
He should be going. Both guys should be going right away. But the guy on second base has to treat it like a man on second. If it's to the shortstop, he's got to make sure the ball gets through on his side, because he don't want to run into an out at third base. So really the only guy that can go right away is the guy on third, but the guy on second has to play it as if he's a man on second, and you don't want to advance to the next base and then get thrown out at third base. And Wilson probably felt he was just too close to home plate to stop and get in a rundown, so that's probably why that didn't happen.
One ball, two strikes on Alex Gordon, who has walked and lined out to right.
I guess they go back to the catching thing. I guess they could have an automatic ejection. That would probably be one way they could handle it. But I talked to Matt Trainer about it, and he didn't feel like they should change the rule, because he felt like there was other ways to handle it. Younger catchers may think differently.
Well, what happens if you're at second base and you get a feed from the shortstop and you clear the bag and you get out of the way and the runner just takes you out anyway?
We'll probably be fighting. That's why I say you shouldn't hang around the base. If it's going to be one out, you just have to get out of the way, because you never know what's in the base runner's mind when he comes down there.
Alex lines it to right field. One hop to Revere, who does not have a strong arm. The throw is cut off, and the relay to third is not in time. It's a 3-2 game. Second time tonight, Alex has hit it hard against Pavano. He drives in his 31st.
This is a line drive too by Alex. Just a nice swing, just a nice fluid swing, and top hand through the ball, then rolls over. He gets through this ball very well, and he hits his ball just solidly in the right field. And there's no chance at the plate. KCA does have a shot at third, but throws the ball to the wrong side of the base, as we see Brian score at home plate.
Pavano, he rolled his ankle and he fell down trying to back up home plate. So Ron Gardenhire, the Minnesota trainer, out there to check on him. He said he's fine without throwing the pitch. So first and third, and now Melky Cabrera, who is singled and grounded into a fielder's choice. He takes ball one. One ball, one strike. Sorry to belabor the point, but if Betemit maybe gets in a rundown long enough to allow Pena the opportunity to get to third base, and you got Escobar as the batter runner, if he has a chance to get to second base, that Alex Gordon base has been worth two.
Yes, I agree.
And now Butera and Pavano will talk over what they want to do with Melky Cabrera. We've had a single with an error by the left fielder. We've had Pavano trying to handle a soft liner with his bare hand. We've had a sac bunt. We've had an out at the plate. Royals with two in the fourth inning. Alex has stolen 5 this year.
With Alex and Escobar on, this is a good chance too, Ryan. If they want to pull a double steal, this would be a good twosome to do it with.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Pavano thinks that Gordon will take off.
Well, usually after those throwovers, then a pitcher will try to fake the third and back to first and hopefully catch Alex breaking off first base.
Goes to the plate. Melky strikes out. The inning is over. The Royals get 2 and make it a 1-run game. Young. It was an error that hurt the Royals last night. It was an error tonight that got the Royals going.
Well, then you have to ask yourself, Ryan, why the Twins playing the way they're playing this year? And it just goes back to that. You got to make plays, and the Royals have definitely done a good job to this point of taking advantage of those plays.
So Danny Duffy getting some time to catch his breath in that long bottom of the fourth inning. Fourth, but that third out was a Denard Span triple, and trying to stretch it to an inside the park home run thrown out at the plate. Alex Gordon to Alcides Escobar to Brian Pena. Three long innings where Duffy threw 69 pitches, and he only needed 10 to get through the fourth. Escobar charges, fast runner, and got KCA. We remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in tonight's game. Maybe Brian Pena blocking the plate as Denard Span tried to score the inside the park home run in the fourth inning. Very difficult play. Justin Morneau is flied to left, fouled out to first. And it seems like we've seen that, even though he wasn't called for a swing there. But how many times have we seen Morneau just fooled by pitches in the dirt?
It looked like he's just looking straight fastball, and that's the only pitch he wants right now. And he's holding up on the breaking ball, but I think he's just a straight dead red fastball hitter.
Threw a fastball by him in 92, 2 balls and 1 strike. Justin Morneau was having an all-star season when he suffered the concussion in Toronto on July the 15th. He was going to be a starter in the All-Star game. Only played in 81 games for Minnesota. The year before that, in September of 2009, he was done for the season because of a stress fracture in his back. He was not available for the playoffs in 09 or last year. 3-2. Balled out on strikes. It looked low on Fox Tracks, and remember, the Fox Tracks grid is in front of the plate. No argument. Justin Morneau back to the dugout as Duffy gets his third.
Wow. He'll take it. I think one of the things on those low fastballs that pitchers throw, the catcher can really make it look good if he can hold that glove right there and not let his glove drop even more. Brian did a good job of holding it right there.
Now Michael Kadire, he homered in the third inning. His 6th of the year, hit it to center field. The Royals had gone 3 straight games without allowing a home run, and that's notable because in the previous 3 the Royals had allowed 13 home runs. And a 4-pitch walk to Kadire. That's Duffy's third walk. Back to tonight's Sprint You Call It question. Which pitcher will have the most wins in June? At 49%, agreeing with Frank. Jeff Francis, followed by Danny Duffy, who is close with Felipe Paulino and Luke Kochever. Ball one to Danny Valencia, so that's 5 in a row out of the strike zone, and now pitching coach Bob McClure is out to the mound. Francis won his last start, but that was on May the 31st. And the Royals are without a win from a starting pitcher in June. So Duffy had 94 pitches. If you look at what he's done in his first 3 starts, he has gone about 95 pitches per start on average and about 5 innings. And here he is at 4 2/3 innings, 94 pitches, and now the Royals are moving around in the bullpen. Valencia grounded out in the first, singled in the third. 1-1. It is right-hander Lewis Coleman just starting to warm up. Not taking his time.
He's moving pretty quick.
Broken bat, good pitch. Escobar runs to the bag, jumps over Kadire, and that's the inning. The Royals just scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. And here is tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who is the Twins' all-time home run leader in games against the Royals? Frank got it right away. So we'll let you chew on that as Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, Billy Butler come up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hosmer struck out in the first and then doubled into the padding above the wall in left center field in the 3rd inning. A play that was reviewed. And in the last 3 games, we've learned a lot about Kauffman Stadium. The railing behind the wall, which resulted in a Billy Butler home run on Wednesday afternoon. The decision was a home run for Butler. This one at first ruled fan interference as that fan reached over and grabbed the ball that was wedged in the padding. and then just called a double. Second time that Hosmer goes to the opposite field against Pavano, and the tying run is on with nobody out.
You can really watch Eric Hosmer get better every day. His pitch is on the outer half, moving away. And even though he stepped like he wanted to pull the ball, he still keeps those hands back. He has such reach, and he was able to reach over there and slap that ball into left field. That's a nice adjustment he's made.
Now backing out of play by Francoeur. 2 ground ball outs tonight. One a nice play by Pavano on a comebacker. Right to Hughes, who flips to KCA for 1 and to Kadire for 2. Final game of this series is Sunday afternoon at 1:10. We hope you'll come out for another Family Fun Day Sunday. And the first 8,000 fans age 14 and under will receive this Slugger Kids Pillowcase presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. Hey, there's a collector's item, a Montreal Expos hat. Remember the old Montreal Expos?
Yeah, Jerry White.
That's right.
Jerry White, Twins first base coach, was a Montreal Expo. You know who else was a Montreal Expo organization was Doug Sisson. Jerry was an outfielder, left fielder.
Andre Dawson, Ellis Valentine, Tim Raines,
Gary Carter.
Billy Butler 2 for 2. What else is new? That makes him 18 out of 37 against Carl Pavano. So just 1 at bat below 500 for his career, and that's the most hits for Billy against any pitcher. And once again, Pavano and Butera will talk it over. Sunday, NASCAR on Fox moves to Kansas, where Greg Biffle will try to win his 2nd straight race at Kansas Speedway. Take home his first checkered flag of the year. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing from Kansas Speedway begins Sunday with the pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut at 11 a.m. in high definition on Fox. Well, that's the pitch they talked about. It's the pitch that gets Billy Butler, and Pavano faces only 3 in the 5th. big league win. Now hoping that it is not his first big league loss tonight as he comes out down by 1. And this is what Danny talked about before the game began tonight, as he wanted to pitch deep into the game, take some strain off the bullpen. And here's Tim Collins to pitch the 6th. So when this series is over, the Toronto Blue Jays will be in town beginning on Monday night. That is a 7:10 game. It is a Royal night, which means you can purchase $5 high-V level tickets. Blue Jays for 4. Get a chance to see former Royal Jose Bautista, who has proven so far that last year was not a fluke. 2nd in the league in hitting, leading the league in home runs, 5th in the league in RBIs. Slow roller up the first base side. That'll kick to the right. 1 strike on Delman Young. Delman Young 1 for 2 with a single. Tonight's carsoup.com email the booth night. Let's get some questions from Joel.
Well, there are a lot of them tonight, and many of them about the eventual ground rule double, what people thought was maybe interference or a home run ball. Here's one from Ryan Post in Lincoln, Nebraska. If that fan had a glove and caught the Hosmer double, quote unquote double, he says, would that have been a home run? There he is. Would have been fan interference at that point if he reached over, right?
Run for it. But it would have been fan interference.
He might not have that seat.
Right. Yeah, he wouldn't have been sitting there yawning and talking on the phone and enjoying all the attention tonight. There have been a lot of questions, guys, too. Maybe you could talk about this from a number of different emailers about why is there no yellow line here and what constitutes a home run. It's got to go over that railing, not the padding in front of it. But I know a lot of stadiums have the yellow line, others don't.
Good start for Tim Collins with a strikeout. I don't know the answer to that question, and I'll be honest with you, I was not aware, Joel, until you guys went out there and gave us some shots of what it looks like. And we've done games out there. Remember a couple years ago we did a game out by Donnie Miller in right field, and then we did another one in front of the Sonic sign, the places where you do your updates, Joel, usually in the first inning. And I guess I was just concentrating on the game. I don't remember that big space above the wall that we're looking at right now.
And you see the tubing there on the left of the screen. It's got to get over that.
Right.
Okay, and so that's what's kind of getting confusing. Obviously, that ball the other day ended up right off of where we think that's the ball mark right there.
Joe, you remember before they put the fence right to the edge of the wall to the field, you remember a ball that Mitch Meyer was playing center field, and the ball got caught on top of that and started rolling around on top of that?
Yes.
So that second wall, isn't that the original wall?
Revere to short. Escobar has to hurry, 2 down.
I was told that was construction because I don't remember seeing this front wall all the way to the edge of this padding. Because I distinctly remember that ball rolling along the padding in doing construction.
And so that padding in the front there, right over the electronic board. I mean, that, not this padding. Now that's the moat there is what we've been calling that. Again, if it gets over that tubed padding, it's going to be a home run. But initially, where we were seeing above the electronic board there, that padding, that's almost like if it gets lodged in there, like the ball we saw with Adam Jones earlier in the year, which happened to be on the ground. That padding in the front has nothing to do with a home run.
Joe, can the left fielder see that?
I haven't played left field.
Good call, Joel.
I'm only on the other side of it.
Well, you're the investigative reporter.
I'm going to run out to left field right now.
But I don't think he knew where the ball was. I just think he knew that it didn't go over the fence, and he just lost sight of it. And then that's when he saw the fan grab it, that's when he put his hands in the air. I think he had no idea where the ball was. It was completely out of sight for him.
So they would be better off to make that a continual padding without any way the ball can get lodged in the crease there, because if he can't see it, then it's really just up to him to say, well, he reached over the rail, so it must be a ground rule double.
Well, I'll add in another aspect to this too, is it seems to me like all these outfielders are being taught, if you're unsure, if there's any doubt, throw your hands up in the air. you know, and ask for help from the umpires instead of trying to figure it out on your own.
So 2 odd plays in the last 3 games.
And I don't know, you know, there have been all these questions about a yellow line. Some stadiums have it, some don't. I don't know that it makes a difference if it's there. I mean, you know, the play still happens the way it did, right?
Well, it makes it easier. You'd have less of a delayed call by the umpires. I think it's, and I'm just looking here from the booth, and of course they're closer, but that dark green really kind of blends in with the fans. But if you have a yellow line like there are in some ballparks, I mean, the yellow line really is going to stand out
all the time.
That's why the foul poles are yellow and not dark green.
You're not going to ask me to go out there with some paint tomorrow, are you?
No, that's what the old Joel used to do.
The old Joel?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the investigative reporter.
Yep.
We've been investigating, Monty and I, on the pregame shows lately. I went out there yesterday and did that. We investigated what was in the Bieber bag today. I mean, we're all over it.
What was the number one thing that pitchers have in the Bieber bag?
There was a piece of chicken parmesan in there. They said it's for the bullpen catcher, Bill Duplessis. I took a bite. It was pretty good.
Well, Marty, when Marty was in the bullpen, they used to have some Rolaids in the bag. So
right.
Did they have anything resembling that in their bag?
Monty was disappointed that it was Tums because he was only used to Rolaids being in there.
Hosmer can't make the play, and unfortunately this conversation continues. Two balls, 2 strikes on Butera. What other questions do you have, Joel?
Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, we're moving on. We've exhausted that. Is that what you're saying?
That's enough Justin Bieber conversation for the decade.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I wore the bag, but that's just because I had no major league experience. I figured, you know, that the new guy has to wear it. Let's see. We'll have to wait.
Fair ball. So Drew Butera with a 133 batting average coming into the game. He drives in a run. Minnesota leads 4-2. He had a key walk in the second inning and then scored on the Span double. And now his double gets Luke Hughes to the plate.
Tim Collins leaves this pitch up. It's fastball up, and Butera's really turned on this ball. But watch what this ball does right here. You don't see this very often. The ball hit and came back across the field, and Alex was thinking it would go down in the corner. And by the time he recovered, it was too late to get Hughes at the plate.
And now Denard Span with a triple and a 2-run double. Danny Duffy struck him out with a good fastball in the first inning, but then Span hit a 2-run double to center over Melky Cabrera, who was shallow, and he is shallow again. And then tripled in the fourth past a diving Alex Gordon in left field, and then was thrown out at the plate trying to turn it into a home run. 0-2.
Well, that's a good place right there. With this Span, you got to play him around the left field, especially with Tim Collins being a lefty and with his fastball.
More towards right center field, so Melky has a long run, but he's there. Twins take a 4-2 lead.
slam inning, and our contestant is Wayne Zeller from Wood Heights, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Wayne will win $1,100. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Wayne will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Okay. It's good hair. Oh, 0-2 on Wilson Betemit.
Is that real?
I don't know. It has been a Carl Pavano type of a start. A lot of hits. Royals with 8 hits in 5 innings. Betemit has had better swings than that. Pavano strikes out his 4th. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. Line to center. Bernard Span fades back and makes the play. Pena is 1 for 3. This July, baseball's biggest stars will gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment. The 2011 Major League All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix at 7 p.m. only on Fox. And now strike on Chris Getz. Sacrifice bunt in the Royals' 2-run 4th inning. He has also popped out to second base. Two and one. Carl Pavano going for win number 100 tonight. Has a 2-run lead. This is his 7th try for win number 100.
And that would be a milestone, 100 wins for a pitcher. That means you've been around a while to get to 100. But Chris Getz done an outstanding job, Ryan, of getting his average up. He's up to 252 now, and with steady playing time, that's worked his advantage.
Pavano needs only 8 pitches to get through the 6th inning. Big crowd watching tonight. Good night for a Pepsi Max, which is the official soft drink of the Royals and the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. You'll never sacrifice taste for 0 calories again with Pepsi Max. New look, same great taste, 0 calories. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Tim Collins took over in the 6th inning, gave up a run after 2 outs and nobody on. AT KCA, Justin Morneau, Michael Kadire here in the 7th. Danny Duffy went 5 innings through 106 pitches, gave up 3 runs, so he still has not allowed more than 3 runs in a start. He gave up 7 hits, and it's the first time he has given up more than 5 hits. 3 walks. One of those walks came around to score, and he struck out 3.
He just seemed to be stuck in that 95 to 100 pitch 5 inning rut. I mean, that's what he's got to. Once he gets through that wall, I think he'll be okay. But just getting through that wall has been difficult for him.
A 4-pitch walk to KCA. So the Twins have a lot of speed at first base with nobody out. And now Justin Morneau. Is he the answer to tonight's trivia question? Brought to you by AT&T, who is the Twins' all-time home run leader against the Royals. Frank White?
I believe Kent Herbeck is.
Good work. Justin Morneau does not have the most home runs against the Royals, but he is 3rd on the list, and he hit his first major league home run right here at Kauffman Stadium in 2003 into the 2nd tier of the right field fountains against Albie Lopez. Remember him? Popped up, and Alex coming up in left field. Justin Morneau is 0 for 4. So 1 on 1 out for Michael Kadire. This and every Wednesday, it's Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase. Get a $7 game ticket, pregame happy hour specials, and enjoy one of KC's best bands. This week, music from the Grizzly Hand before the Royals take on the Blue Jays at 7:10. Gates open at 6. Blake Wood will replace Tim Collins and face Michael Kadire in a Chevy call to the bullpen when we come back. Mike Carruthers, affectionately known as Doc, our stage manager, back. He was in India for a couple of weeks, and his first day back on the job, he dropped all of his papers out of the booth and his pencil. I was pointing out his pencil. Don't forget your pencil. Welcome back, Doc, with an assist from Ron Swanee, who very MacGyver-like, got a broom, put some duct tape on the end of it so that we could reach down and grab those papers for Doc.
Good old duct tape.
Oh, and 1 on Michael Kadire. So Blake Wood inherits a runner at first with 1 out. Kadire homered in the 3rd inning. He also walked twice. 3 RBIs for him in the first 2 games of the series. Alexi Casilla, the runner at first base, stole his 6th base back in the 1st inning. Royals thought he would be running again. So Danny Duffy for 5, Tim Collins an inning and a 3rd, and now Blake Wood trying to get the Royals out of the 7th.
That's one area that Blake Wood's trying to work on, is controlling the running game, and that's one area that the Twins might want to try to exploit.
Casilla started, stopped, and Kadire fouls it away. Michael Kadire was Minnesota's first-round pick in 1997. Got to the big leagues in 2001 for the first time. The longest tenured Minnesota Twins among the current Twins. Final year of his contract. Casilla runs. The throw is high and has to go up and get it. Casilla with a pretty acrobatic play just to keep his foot on the bag. His 2nd stolen base tonight, his 7th of the year. Kadire down on strikes on the play, and there are 2 down.
Well, ideally, you'd like to have that pop-up slide. You'd like to have that right foot come up on top of the base, but he slides a little late, and that front foot goes across, and he's just fortunate he's been able to keep that right foot on the bag. But this is where you want to come straight up on top of the base, but he slid so late that his momentum carried him across the base. But that's almost like a stretch at first base.
Look at that. Baryshnikov. By the way, Frank, Alexi Casilla is originally from the Angels organization. Does that surprise you?
No, you look at the body type.
Switch hitter.
Switch hitter, play up the middle.
We were just talking about that during the Angels series. Just one guy after another. Switch hitter, fast, not real big. Alexi Casilla. Maicer Izturis. Eric Ibar. Alberto Callaspo, who was once faster than he is now. Sean Figgins, not originally from the Angel system, but came up through their minor leagues.
Reggie Willits.
Reggie Willits. Popped up. Chris Getz is there. Valencia is out. And Blake Wood gets the Royals out of the 7th inning. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning, and we'll take a look at tonight's defensive play of the game, brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense.
Well, this is back in the 3rd inning. He had a nice play by Duffy to pick him off, and then he went to 3-6, and then 6-2 to Escobar at home, and Brian Pena does a great job blocking the plate. And then 4th inning, this might be the play of the night right here. Gordon hits Escobar, got to hit that first guy, and Brian Pena hangs on and blocks the plate against an arch fan.
So Escobar and Pena involved in both. Brian 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored at the plate. Fouled away by Escobar. So down quickly, no balls, 2 strikes, trying to snap out of an 0 for 18. So his average has dropped down a couple of points tonight. On the ground to short. KCA throws him out. One down in the bottom of the 7th. Let's go back to Joe Goldberg.
All right, some more Carsey email the booth questions. And Frank, hitting question. I get this one a lot from people. This is from Garth McGinn, Bel Air, Kansas. Since it's usually the best pitch they see, how come most batters let that first pitch go? I know that's a generalization, Frank, but we do see that a lot. A lot of guys leaving that first pitch alone. Now, what's the approach there?
Well, I think it's a lot of it is that they say they want to see a pitch and try to figure out how the fastball's moving and things like that, Joe. But I'm a believer that when you're in the on-deck circle, you should be able to gauge speed from the on-deck circle, and you should be ready for that first pitch, especially in the situation we have man in scoring position.
Quick 2-out question from Kelly Smith in the Summit, Missouri. When the pitcher tries to throw out a runner at first, does the first baseman know it's coming?
Say it again, Joe.
When the pitcher tries to throw a runner out at first base, a pickoff play, does the first baseman know that that throw is going to be coming?
The first baseman, he doesn't know. That sign usually comes from between the catcher and the pitcher, and the first baseman just got to be ready.
Or sometimes the pitcher, just on a whim, decides he wants to pick the runner off.
Yeah, sometimes he'll just start it, go into his motion and twill and throw to first. So the pitcher the first baseman just got to be ready for anything that might come over there.
Runs up to get it. 6 pitches. Pavano has given Minnesota 7 innings, and he has a 4-2 lead. The 8th inning, Panera takes us around the American League, where Texas beats Cleveland, 2 first-place teams. Toronto over Baltimore. Toronto goes back above 500. Boston in front of Oakland. Boston 2 games back in the East. One ball, no strikes. Blake Wood to Delman Young. Blake coming on with a runner at first and one out in the seventh. He got Kadire on a strikeout, Valencia on a pop out. Delman Young, 2 balls, no strikes, 1 for 3, couple of strikeouts. Batting at just .216. And Delman Young now has 134 at bats, make it 135 with a single to left field. 135 at bats. He has 4 extra base hits.
That's when you look at that slugging percentage is so low. Coming in the game is only .260. Last year he was just one guy that anytime he saw a fastball out over the plate, he squared it up pretty good. And everything he hit seemed like it was a double last year.
He was a legitimate MVP candidate for most of last year. Batted .298, 21 home runs, 112 RBIs, 46 doubles. He has been on the disabled list at the end of April, on the shelf with a left oblique injury. 1 strike on Ben Revere. Infield single, runs scored in the second inning, 1 for 3. 7-game hitting streak going back to his first stint with the Twins this year. Minnesota's first-round pick in 2007. That is a fair ball on the chalk. Alex was playing that way, so no further advance for Young. So a chop base hit for Ben Revere. 2 on, nobody out.
Well, you don't very rarely see that here. Ball bouncing on the ground and going over the third baseman's head. But you had Wilson Bettamy playing down on the grass, and that was all the edge that Revere needed to get that base hit right on the line.
Well, he's going to be a tough out anytime he puts the ball on the ground, and especially with a high bounce. Bettamy or Escobar on the left side are able to field that high chop. I don't know if you've got a chance to throw out Revere.
That would have been difficult because he had to move toward the line, but Wilson Bettamy was in a good step on the grass, and when you have speed, that's how you change the game. Everybody gets out of position, and little hits like that become problems.
Big group of Royals on the mound. Bob McClure is back to the dugout. You can take your group out to Kauffman Stadium and you will save big. Groups of 20 or more get a significant discount compared to single game ticket prices. And for tickets, call 816-504-4040 or visit Royals.com. Big crowd here tonight, over 32,000. Buck night, fireworks after the game. And a weekend series with the Twins always draws big crowds. Royals are ready for the bunt with Luke Hughes at the plate. And Blake Wood really had no intention of trying to pick off Young at second base, just trying to see if Hughes would tip his hand.
Well, he wants to try to bunt this ball hard to third base. He wants Wilson Bettamy to field this ball, but if he doesn't bunt it well and Blake Wood could get over, then they may have a force out at third base.
But it is way outside past Pena. So the runners move up and the Twins don't have to give up an out. A wild pitch.
Well, you see this pitch here, that's one that's so difficult for a catcher to be able to get out in front of. And Brian Pena did all he could to try to keep this ball in front. But this is over in the left-hand batter's box.
So the Royals bring the infield in. Down by 2, and it's getting late. 1-1 on Hughes. There's a nice grab in the lower level. Hughes 1 for 3, an infield single and a run scored in the 6th inning, just called up from AAA. The move was made yesterday when Kubel and Tomey were placed on the disabled list. But Hughes arriving before the game tonight. Minnesota knew they had to make a decision on somebody going to the disabled list. Was it going to be Jason Kubel or was it going to be Jim Tomey? Well, it ended up being both. So Revere and Hughes called up.
Ron Gardner sure didn't like that news. That's something I'm sure he wasn't expecting.
Fouled back, and Dan Gladden, former Minnesota Twin, who always wears his glove in the radio booth, almost caught that foul ball. Frank normally has his glove on the counter or close by, but doesn't wear it. There's Dan Gladden with Chris Atterbury doing the play-by-play for the Twins.
I've got mine. It's right here.
Got him with a hard slider away. Joe Wood comes back after the wild pitch, 1 out.
There it is, right?
So you're ready to go.
Ready to go.
I've got mine too, although I probably have to be quicker than this if a foul ball's coming my way. But boy, it's got to be a high, slow foul ball. But I've got my Frank White gold glove. This was a giveaway a couple years ago. Left-handed.
There you go.
Even that, huh? Look at that. So we're ready.
We don't get many this way, but we will be ready when they do come.
Left center field. Cabrera and Gordon. Melky makes the catch. Heaves it to the plate. It's cut off. Throw to third. Revere is out, but the run scores. So Delvin Young hustling down the line. He crossed home plate before the out is recorded at third. So Minnesota has a 3-run lead at the end of 7½.
With Jeff Montgomery and myself, also Fireworks Friday. 2 plays at home plate tonight. We will talk about those. A ball lodged in the pads out in the outfield. We'll review that again. Danny Duffy's 4th career Major League start, highlights, reaction, and much more coming up. And you can text your questions in 432-432 space keyword live. We'll answer some of those. That and more coming up next, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. Carl Pavano to the 8th inning. In the 4th, he threw 24 pitches. The Royals came up with 2 runs on 4 hits. And it looked like it might be another long night for Pavano against the Royals. His career ERA before the game started was 6.55 against KC. And that's the highest for any pitcher who has thrown 75 or more innings. But since that 4th inning, he has allowed 1 hit. He has retired 9 in a row. Ball 1 on Eric Hosmer. Two hits for Hosmer and a strikeout, 2 out of 3. That ball's hit hard. Hosmer is on one of those tears right now where everything he hits is hard.
And not only hit him hard, they're falling in the green grass out in the outfield too. And he got his average up to 300, and he's just an aggressive hitter. But he has a real uncanny knack of, even though his lower half might open up early, he keeps those hands back and allows him to adjust to the ball away.
As I was saying, everything he hits is hard. So he's 2 for 4. He had been right at 300 going into that at bat. So Pavano's retired 10 straight, and now he gets Jeff Francoeur. Pavano trying to go 8 innings for the 4th time this year and in consecutive starts. He went 8 innings in a loss on Sunday against the Angels, gave up 10 hits in that game. It is 1-1 on Francoeur. He is 0 for 3. Shallow right, and it's Luke Hughes running over from second base. So 11 in a row knocked down by Pavano. Game 3 with Minnesota tomorrow night. Luke Hochhaver against Nick Blackburn. Ivy Royals Live with Joel and Monty is at 5:30. First pitch is at 6:10. Remember, it's Willie Wilson bobblehead night tomorrow. First 20,000 fans getting the Willie Wilson right-hand hitting bobblehead. Brought to you by Farmland. Another base hit for Billy Butler. 3 out of 4 tonight, and now 19 career hits against Pavano. And that makes him a 500 hitter in his career against Carl Pavano.
Stay back through the middle. That's Billy Butler. Stay back through the middle, hit the ball hard, and he's had a lot. He had some success today. He said, "I'm tired of hitting line drives right at guys," so he found some holes tonight.
And the Royals have come out swinging against Pavano in this inning. Strike 1 on Wilson Betemit. 4th inning single, 1 for 3. Shattered his bat, and Pavano goes 8. Miller Lite taste greatness moment.
Well, a big difference in his last start here at Coughlin when he was frustrated and he was beating up the bench. But tonight, second consecutive game with 8 innings. He was able to retire the last 12 out of 13 Royals. Good night for Pavano.
And nobody's happier than that trash can in the visitors' dugout. Everett Teaford here in the top of the 9th, and it's the top of the order, and Teaford throws it to the screen. Coming on for the 9th time. A 2.84 earned run average for Teaford. And now back with a strike to Denard Span. A 2-run double and a triple. Tried for an inside the park home run, but was thrown out at the plate. So Span with 4 hits in the first 2 games. AT KCA and Justin Morneau after. Minnesota with 2 in the second on the Span double. Michael Kadire homered in the third. Royals got 2 in the 4th inning to make it a 1-run game. Ryan Pena, Alex Gordon driving in runs, but now Minnesota with runs in the 6th and the 8th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Drew Butera has driven in 2 runs. Escobar runs up, and Span is out. 1 away in the 9th. Now AT KCA, 1 out of 3, an infield single, a walk, 2 stolen bases. Strike over the inside. Danny Duffy went 5, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits. Tim Collins gave up a run and an inning and a third, and Blake Wood gave up a run in an inning and 2/3. Two balls, 1 strike. Minnesota trying to win 2 in a row. They put an end to a 4-game losing streak last night, beating the Royals 8-2. 10 hits last night, 8 runs, 11 hits tonight, 5 runs. And it's the second straight night where the offense is pretty well spread out. 8 players had 10 hits last night. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And 8 players have combined for 11 hits tonight. Only Justin Morneau is without a base hit for the Twins. And KCA is on for the 3rd time, a 1-out walk. James Hoey and Anthony Slamma warming up in the Twins bullpen. As in Phi Slamma Jamma. University of Houston, right?
Clyde Drexler. Hakeem Olajuwon.
KCA has already stolen 2 tonight. So Justin Morneau 0 for 4 and 1 for 9 in the series. 0-1.
Nice little step off move.
Just a little bit outside. KCA got a pretty good jump, and it's sliced off the left field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Morneau.
A real good jump, just going first move on Everett Teaford. As soon as he moved that foot, he just took off and never did look home. And then when you don't look home, you don't know where the ball is, and you just you slide unnecessarily. If he takes one look in and see where that ball goes, he doesn't waste a slide in the second hit first, and you don't want to get hurt on a slide that you don't even know where the ball is.
And what if that ball is fair, not foul?
Then he's got to make a decision.
He's on the ground.
Who's he going to pick up? Usually the middle infield is going to do something to make you think you need to stay there. And so if you don't pick your third base coach up right away, then you won't gain that extra 90 feet.
KCA runs again, and Morneau fouls it away again.
Well, let's see if he changed gears with his head this time and see if he's going to peek in. Well, that time he took a look in, so he saved a few steps and saved himself a hard slide into second base. And 1 and 2, he's run twice. They could pitch out on this pitch.
He runs, pitches outside, and the throw is in time. A nice scoop by Escobar on a low throw. So KCA has attempted 3 stolen bases tonight, and that's the first time he has thrown out.
Well, you have to think he goes 3 times. Ryan, those legs get a little bit weary, and Brian Payne, even though this ball bounced, he got there in plenty of time. A nice play right there by Escobar, and KCA slides right into the tag.
Hold to Hosmer, to Teaford, and that's the inning. A scoreless 9th for Everett Teaford. Last ball for the Royals to the bottom of the 9th. No 3 from Billy Butler. Tonight's Chevrolet plays of the game.
Billy Butler wants to get some different kind of hits, and he did tonight in the second inning with a little slicer to the right field and come back with a base hit down in the left field corner, and also a single up the middle. So good night for Billy Butler.
Carl Pavano stays on for the 9th. Going for his 15th career complete game. He has 103 pitches, but he has only needed 24 to get through the last 3 innings. So he's throwing strikes. The Royals are swinging early. And Pavano's been leaving the mound without even breaking a sweat. Ryan Pena to center field. So he is 1 for 4, and there's 1 down in the 9th. Pavano also going for his 100th career win. His first chance at that was against the Royals on May 1st. Royals scored 7 runs against him in 5 1/3 innings. He has not won since. So this is his 7th try at 100 wins. Strike on Chris Getz. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. 1-1. At a play, 1-2. Pavano has retired 13 of the last 14. Easy play for Kadire, and there are 2 down. Well, with the Major League Amateur Draft coming up on Monday, FoxSports.com columnist Steve Cameron offers a 5-point lesson on how the Royals hope to grab more exciting prospects in this year's draft. Check it out at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. And a strike to Escobar. May have been a little high. 0 for 3, and now 0 for his last 19. Dropping him down to 205. Last year was considered a disappointing season for him in his rookie year with the Milwaukee Brewers, and he hit 235. Hughes is a little taller than Ben Revere. He makes the catch, and Carl Pavano with career victory number 100, and he does it with a complete game, the 15th of his career. An ERA of over 6.5 in his career against the Royals, but tonight he allows only 2 runs in 9 innings. Twins win it. We'll be right back.